So thinking about the challenges for engaging the public or engaging volunteer communities, I think, well, let me step back a little bit and talk about my work. I've been a researcher. I've been studying, my focus has been on crowd workers themselves and the crowdsourcing communities at different levels, but to look at how they work together to help process information in different ways. But as I look at the challenges for the community, a couple of things that we're missing is I know what they do, and they're getting very good at doing certain kinds of things and processing information in different ways, and they have this capacity, but plugging that capacity into what emergency responders actually need, the kinds of tasks they need completed, the kinds of information they need, I think there's a gap there, and that's one of the challenges. Another challenge is to find is to somehow educate emergency responders so they understand what's going on here, and then that gets into policies. Like, how can they develop policies and procedures for tapping into different types of volunteer communities? So I think those are the next things. I think that's what we're talking about here at the conference is we're talking about these issues. Okay, here's what we can do. We can explain really well what the volunteer communities can do. And we're beginning to really understand that, but how do we leverage it, and how do we leverage it in different ways and to meet the needs that they have? I think this question was really asking, what are the unique challenges at different parts of the cycle, right? So there's different types of crowdsourcing and crowd activity that are going on, and I've actually looked at not all parts, but different parts. So we've got this aspect of people putting information into the system as citizen reporters through social media. And we've got at the next level, we've got people on social media who are helping to amplify certain kinds of information, and we can find certain signals within that noise, all that extra activity. And then we get up to levels where digital volunteers are coming together. They're meeting, they're self-organizing to meet their own needs. They're coordinating response in their own communities. And then we've got these very structured platforms like maybe Ushahidi, OpenStreetMap, that are technological platforms that are trying to shape certain kinds of crowd work. So we've got all these different things, and sometimes they work together. So sometimes the lower levels actually feed. So sometimes social media feeds into Ushahidi or things like this. So we've got these different levels. And I think at the lower levels, we've got some technical challenges. How do we create algorithms that can pull information from this activity? How can we identify things automatically? And then at the higher levels, when we start getting the crowd involved, and the crowd involved actively as volunteers as opposed to passively or ambiently as just information providers, then we get these policy issues. Then we get, let's understand what they're doing. How do we shape that activity? How do we get them to do what we want? So it's not just, we've got crowdsourcing, this is what we're going to do. These are trusted volunteers, we're going to use them. I mean, there's all sorts of different aspects there. And it really depends on what place in that sort of ecosystem. If you think about it, maybe a layered filtration system where it's, it continues to get all this information at the bottom, and you're continuing up to where you've got some really good, concise resources. And in each layer of that filtration system, there's different kinds of questions relating to technology and policy.